like, comment, and subscribe for more content.
Lycans and gentlemen, we thank you for waiting. And now let the games begin.
Let's see what you have here. Ethan Winters.
Get ready.
No!
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Showtime!
What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to my Year of Capcom video series. Every month this year, I'm making a video on a Capcom game that I really like. This month is October, the spookiest month of the year. Therefore, this month's video is Resident Evil Village, right? Which is arguably Capcom's spookiest game, right? And I don't say scariest. I think the scariest game Capcom has made, it either goes to Resident Evil 7 or Resident Evil 2 Remake, right? But, you know, a couple hours into RE2 Remake, the scares kind of wear off, and you're just playing Resident Evil. Resident Evil 7, I think it deserves the crown for the scariest game Capcom has made, right? Resident Evil Village, however, is the spookiest, right? There's a lot of spooky things in this game, right? And I love it. I love spooky things. I love scary things too. But before we get too far into this, do me a favor, guys. Leave a like, subscribe if you guys do like Capcom stuff. If you guys like Resident Evil, I would appreciate that greatly. We just hit 500 subs recently. We're gunning for 1,000 to help your boy out. I would appreciate that. But without any further ado, let's talk about Village, right? Because I got a lot to say, right? The lead up to Resident Evil Village, the release of this game, I was so excited, guys. I think I was on vacation, and then I heard that Capcom sent me the collector's edition, right, like a week early. So I drove home, right? We ended vacation early to drive home so we can play Resident Evil Village, right? And I had a blast that first playthrough. Now, is Resident Evil Village as good as Resident Evil 7? That is the question that everyone asks. I don't think so. I really don't think so. I have Resident Evil 7 very high on my Resident Evil tier list. I think it may be the second best Resident Evil game. To me, personally, at least, right? To me, Resident Evil 4 and Resident Evil 7, the two games that reimagined the series the most, those are my two favorite games in the series, right? Resident Evil Village, it just, you know, it keeps the fire burning that Resident Evil 7 lit, you know? And I have a whole video about Resident Evil 7. It was actually episode 1 of my Year of Capcom, right? So you can go watch that. I'm trying not to gush about that game. But Resident Evil Village, it takes what I liked about Resident Evil 7, but it kind of fuses it with Resident Evil 4, right? You're in this like remote location, and while you're going through the story, you're treasure hunting, right? You're finding little trinkets to sell to the merchant. There's a merchant in this game, right? So there's all kinds of Resident Evil 4 flavor in Resident Evil Village, right? So on top of that, the story of Resident Evil Village is really good, right? I know there's a handful of people that really don't like it, right? I made a couple videos where I'm not gonna post this comment, but you know who you are, man. I had a guy in one of my comments that was like, "Hey, man, if you guys like Village, just wait. Capcom's gonna start putting dragons and leprechauns in their game." And I mean, does that not sound awesome? It kind of does, right? Like, come on. How is that a bad thing? But no, the story of Resident Evil Village, it takes place after Resident Evil 7, duh, right? It's a continuation. Ethan is in this remote European village. There's werewolves running around. There's tall, sexy vampire ladies, right? And there's mutants, one of which has Magneto powers. Super cool, right? One of my favorite things about the Resident Evil series in general, I love how Resident Evil kind of just throws these concepts at you, right? They're like, hey, there's gargoyles, vampires, werewolves, you know, swamp men, right? There you go. And then at the end of the game, they kind of just like explain to you how it all happened, right? I know for a lot of people people don't like that, but I love the lore rooms, right? I love the last levels in Resident Evil games where you get to the lab and they're like, hey, the werewolf, you know, swarm happened because of this parasite, right? The vampire thing happened because of a mutation. I love stuff like that, right? That's one of the reasons why I love Resident Evil so much. I love the lore dumps, you know? So, the 4 main villains, or technically there's 5. There's 5 main villains in Resident Evil Village. And one of which needs no introduction, right? Lady Dimitrescu, the tall, sexy vampire lady, aka Big Muscle Mommy, aka Please Step on Me, right? Dude, we need a game with her by herself, right? Dude, I need to get a VR. Dude, I need to get a PlayStation VR. So anyway, moving on. Next, you have Heisenberg, my personal favorite. And then you have the 2 lesser of the 4 lords, right? You have Moreau, the Swamp Man. And then you have Lady Beneviento. I believe that's her name. She's this puppet lady, and her level gives us one of the scariest sections in a Resident Evil game, right? Dude, the puppet house with the baby in the basement. Oh my god, man. Dude, I don't think I've ever been so scared of anything in an immediate moment. Probably the closest thing was like PT, right? The moment you step into the puppet house, right, and there's no items, right? There's no background music, there's no enemies, right? Dude, it was funny. My girlfriend was sitting next to me, and she was like, why are you, like, so scared right now? There's no enemies here. And I'm like, dude, that's the scary thing. I just fought 700 werewolves just to get to here. Now there's nothing, right? Like, just the suspense in that level. Mwah. That's some horror. That's a masterpiece of horror right there. I love it. Right? And then the final villain is Mother Miranda, right? And she's basically the Lord Sadler of this game, right? If you played Resident Evil 4, which I know you have. Everyone in the world has played Resident Evil 4. Right? So, really strong cast of villains, right? I loved all of them, right? You know what? Let me slow down. I like Ethan by the end of this game. Ethan's the main character. I said this on Twitter when this game dropped, but Ethan is like the Jerry Smith of Resident Evil protagonists, right? What does that mean? You know what it means, right? Like, don't be obtuse. You know what I'm trying to say, right? So, and then all of that culminates, this whole game culminates with this really cool last level that me personally, I really like, where you play as Chris Redfield, right? And you just tear ass through the village, right? Everything that had been giving Ethan trouble throughout the game, you come back as Chris and you just demolish everything, right? With your bare hands, your bare punching fists, right? I love that last level, right? Amazing. And then on top of that, Resident Evil Village did get a DLC, the Shadows of Rose DLC, where you get to play as Ethan's daughter, Rose. And unfortunately, this DLC wasn't anything crazy, but it was interesting to play, you know? But altogether, Resident Evil Village is an amazing package. I love this game. Dude, I can't wait to see where Capcom takes the Resident Evil series after this, because, man, dude, me personally, Resident Evil Village is probably my, I don't know, 4th favorite Resident Evil game, right? Number 1 is still Resident Evil 4. Number 2, Resident Evil 7. Number 3, Resident Evil 2. And yeah, Resident Evil Village, number 4. That list can change. If you guys have been on my channel long enough, you guys do know that depending on my testosterone levels for the day, my rankings mean nothing. Anything in my top 5 can shift at a moment's notice, you know? So, anyway, guys, I just want to gush about this game a bit. You know, it's spooky season, and I'm going to be playing through it again over on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/CaptainFirefeet. If you guys want to swing by, I would appreciate that. Let me ask you guys a question. Serious question. where would you guys rank Resident Evil Village in your own personal Resident Evil ranking, right? I just told you mine. I want to know yours. Leave that in the comment section below. I'm genuinely curious because I love this game. But just like Resident Evil 7, lately I've been seeing, you know, some weird pushback, right? I know it's not a lot of people. It's like a very vocal minority, right? But like, come on, dude. Resident Evil Village is an amazing game. Resident Evil 7 is an amazing game. And they deserve some praise, you know? So, anyway, guys, that's the video. I appreciate you guys sticking with me this long. If you guys have made it this far, do me a favor. I know I said this earlier, but, you know, leave a like, subscribe. I would appreciate that a lot. I know it doesn't seem like much, but every like helps me combat the dreaded YouTube algorithm. You know, so help your boy out. I'd appreciate that. Anyway, guys, that's the video. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.